Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today I'm featuring part 2 of the NVX collaboration between Fat Cat Collections and, of course, NVX Car Audio. They were nice enough to sponsor a couple videos, 3 to be exact, and in return they sent me 2 of their NVX VSW 12 V2 series subwoofers. Now the original build was going to be 215s. This was going in my Dodge Ram regular cab pickup truck. Most important thing when it comes to any driver, it could be a $20 Parts Express driver or a $1,000 driver. The most important thing is what box it's going into. Doesn't matter how great the sub is if you put it in the wrong box. Now, there's bits of opinions on this. I always build a box to manufacturer ported spec, but to be honest with you, with this box, I didn't really, they were like, yeah, well, wait till we get the subs, wait till we get the specs for the new V3s, is the original ones they wanted to send me. I was on a little bit of a time crunch. I wanted to get this done this summer. I didn't know when the V3s were going to be out. Check them out. I'll put links in the description. But the V2s were more than enough for what I needed. Great power handling in this, 450 to 600. I wanted a subwoofer that was going to be in that 600 watt range due to the amp that I was using, which is a Banff 8000D. It's not an 8,000 watt amp, power acoustic like many brands. Way over. It should be illegal to overrate your products like this, but they claim that's a 4,000 RMS watt amp. Big D Wiz and Winston Audio, guys like that, are very, very usable channels and very useful channels because they actually dyno test these amps. So an amp like a power acoustic, they did not dyno test that exact amp, but they dyno tested like the 3000D, I think the 4000D. So basically I got a percentage of those two tests and figured out what roughly this 8000D amp puts out. If you have a power acoustic amp, you're looking at roughly, for the 8000D amp, roughly around 12 to 1300 watts RMS. So that's perfect for what I was doing with it. I wanted a sub that was going to run about 600 to 700 watts RMS each. The NVX fit the bill. Now, I did reach out to several different companies. I didn't get any response back. This is great because I love working with companies like NVX who, you know, they've been around for a little while. They don't have a huge, really hardly any YouTube presence. Guys like me can help to change that. And really the only way you change that is by actually building this stuff, putting it in your ride, tuning it, building it right, and seeing what happens, right? So I gotta tell you, long story short, without you guys know I love to ramble on, I could talk to you guys for hours about this. But for purposes of keeping this video shorter, today's video is just gonna be just a very basic demonstration video of me installing the subs in the truck. The third video is actually gonna be a demonstration of the system, and I might even do a fourth video for them just on me, just kind of showing the entire build from the ground up. It'll be a much longer video for those who don't like my long-winded, style. You know, hey, there's the door. So, but I'm not going to get involved in the specs. What I want you guys to do is, if you are interested in these subs, click the link in the description to read more about them. I'll put the Amazon Buy It Now link as well, should you want to add these to your system. Don't listen, remember guys, don't let the price of products dupe you into thinking they're inferior or superior. When it comes to car audio, or really audio in general, there's not a lot of difference across all brands. What really drives the price of woofers up is really its ability to handle power and marketing, right? So NVX, again, great company. The price on these, $89 for a 12. That is super competitive. Most brand name woofers that you're gonna buy, go look at Infinities or you know, Rockford Fosgate. In my opinion, one of the biggest ripoffs. And I'm not saying it's not good product, but they just charge way too much for it based on their name. They used to not be that expensive. You can't get a woofer like this from Fosgate for $89, and there's really no reason to go with any other brands. You know, again, if you find something you like more, great. If it meets your build, what you need, great. But the power handling on this is great. The X-Max could be a little higher, but they probably changed that in their version 3s. But remember, X-Max doesn't determine audio output. What determines audio output is a car acoustics, power going into it, the box, the tuning, all this factors in. And to be safe, if you're building a box, and I hope that you are, if you're watching my videos on car audio and you're thinking about doing a system, the best way of getting good quality sound to your car is not replacing all your speakers. You know, you can do all that, and that's part of it. All helps, right? But the biggest addition you can make to be happier with the way that your car audio system sounds is adding a subwoofer. It doesn't matter if it's a inexpensive pile or very entry-level $50 sub with a really crummy, you know, Walmart amp, it doesn't matter as long as you integrate a sub to get more bass into your system, right? That's the biggest thing you can do to be happier with your sound. Now, your levels of output, what your expectations are, will determine your next steps. But NVX, no matter what you're trying to do, is a great option. Affordable, $90 for a 12. Do not let that price fool you. You have great power handling. When you look at other brands out there, there's not many brands that are giving you this value with this kind of power handling at this price point. It's pretty incredible. So that's really the important stuff. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the technical specs. 12 inches. If you're going to port it, if you're going to build a box for a 12-inch subwoofer, they recommend on this here 1.75. I would never build a box for any 12-inch subwoofer under 2 cubic feet. In this case, I ended up going with about 2.25 cubic feet per driver, maybe even a little bit more. I forget exactly what the specs came out to. I have to look at the AutoCAD program and see what it was. But I think it was roughly about 4.5 cubic feet. Went with the box on the larger side. You could have went larger. Remember, kind of a safe rule of thumb. Bigger the box, more efficient it becomes, right? In this case, I didn't really need to worry about power handling. I wanted this sucker just to sound great. And my experience, bigger boxes just have a rumble you can't get with smaller boxes. Now, just to put an example, try to keep this shorter. I have 610s in my Solara. It's 5.5 cubic feet with 6 10-inch subwoofers. That box is small for 6 10-inch subwoofers. Now, the box still rumbles, still gets up and goes, but it doesn't sound like this box. There is it plays the lows, don't get me wrong, but this box really gets a deeper level of low that you just can't get when the box is kind of a little suffocated, right? Just kind of keep that in mind. Hence the reason why I didn't go with 312s. I didn't have that full minimum 6 cubic feet. I didn't want to risk it. I've done boxes like that before. With this, I knew I was getting a box that was bigger than it needed to be, fit the enclosure, the cab perfectly, tuned to 29 hertz, and I'll tell you guys, this is one of the best systems I've ever done. I kept it simple. I didn't, it's always, guys who are into car audio, we always want to do things unique, especially guys who are into custom stuff. You always want to do something different, unique, and you're hoping for the best output. And ultimately, you just never know what you're going to get until it's done. I think 212s is really a very safe option for folks who want to have that output, but still have that good sound quality. Again, box dependent, right? So definitely check out NVX Audio, the VSW series. If you are, I think they're still going to continue to make the V2s even when they come out with the V3s. Because if you get the V3, my issue with waiting for the V3s, which is what they wanted to send me, was I didn't want to underpower them. And so the V3s, I think we're going to have a power handling of about 1,000 watts. I didn't want to go out and have to buy another amp. NVX is willing to collaborate, half collaborate on an amp, and give me 50% off, I think it was, on the amp. But, videos aren't free. This is pretty time consuming. I didn't really want to go have to spend any money on that. So, but you never know, down the road, if they're happy with the product, with my services, then we might see a collaboration down the road. I did reach out to them again and say, hey, I'd like to be the face for your company on YouTube, because there's not a lot of guys running NVX on YouTube. And I think a lot of folks get kind of duped into that, just like with watches, that, oh, it's cost more. It's a name brand, so it's got to be better. And that's not the case. NVX has got some good technology in their subs here, like the aluminum shorting ring, good specifications for money, and that power handling. There's not a lot of companies that can touch this price point for that kind of power handling. It's exceptional. It's a great value. And the biggest plus to this brand is, at least with the V2s, they're cosmetically appealing. I wouldn't want to have gone with the Power Acoustic BAMF series, or not the BAMF, the MoFo series in this truck, because of all the space age looking cone design. Don't get me wrong, I have that in the Jag. It's a great sub, but it's in the trunk. With that bright blue, I guess if you have a bright blue truck and you're trying to coordinate this style, you have blue accents, wonderful. But I like the fact NVX kept it simple. It's very clean. The only thing I would recommend with something like this is, if they are going to do a different color option, I like when companies keep it simple. Do a white one. Do simple colors, white, black, don't get too crazy. Black, is really a safe bet. It goes in everything. These subs, whether you're putting them inside the interior or in a trunk, They're durable, they look good, they sound good, and it's really a great value, well-rounded sub. And I hate using the word for the money, really for any price point. This is great. You're going to be happy with it. So here's a video of me installing it. Real nonchalant, just telling you guys what I'm doing here. It's not a full install video. I will go back and do a more in-depth, very lengthy video showing you guys exactly what I do with the deck and the amps I'm using. But this is a pretty simple system, just so you guys know. 4.5 cubic foot box. I built it myself with my dad's assistance with AutoCAD to make sure we were cutting, or I was cutting properly, right? Basically, it's a wedge shaped box, ported out the side, 2 4-inch ports, tuned to 29 hertz, 4.5 cubic feet, running about 1300 RMS to these subwoofers. Do cross brace if you were gonna build a box. Lesson learned: I didn't cross brace, and the front panel was flexing when these babies got moving. So do cross brace. Lesson learned. I've never cross braced on any box I've ever built, but mainly I've gotten away with because I didn't have a lot of height and I didn't have a lot of length. So you had the walls of the box, the top, the bottom, the corners come together and they make the box more rigid. With this box, because it was 56 inches long by 24 inches high, these babies flexed the MDF. I couldn't believe it, what I was seeing. So I went back in, I did build the cross brace in there, problem solved, distortion gone, and output increased. So do cross brace. Fat Cat lesson learned. But anyway, guys, I mean, fantastic. I can't say more positive things about this brand. I'm very happy, and I think you guys will, absolutely love this brand if you're looking for a good, fully featured value subwoofer. And don't let that word scare you. I put these subs up against. I've had Fosgate, I've had MTX at $180 a sub. I've had Cerwin Vegas, I've had Earthquake. These subs, you're getting it all. I mean, you don't need anything more. So again, here's a video of me installing the subs in the box. Okay, folks, so here I am inside the truck here. I've already got the speaker box installed. Now we're getting to the fun part, which is actually installing the drivers into the box. Again, these are 212 NVX V2 series. I believe right now they have the V3 series out, which hopefully down the road maybe we can collaborate on those subs in a different vehicle, just slightly higher power handling. These are going to be fantastic though. So basically this box is done with like a all MDF. I skinned it with a black matte finish Formica, and of course the cover plate I wrapped with a black vinyl, just from the local Joann fabric store. This is going to be fantastic, guys. Again, the box is 5 cubic feet, tuned to 29 hertz. It's 212s, 2 DVC 4 ohm voice coil 12s, putting the amp in a 1 ohm load. I'm using a BAMF on this. BAMF 8000D should realistically run anywhere from 1,000 to about 1,300 watts RMS. The subs look great, and we're gonna find out how they sound. Okay, and of course now we're getting ready to install the subwoofers. I'm not going to get too involved in the process of cutting the holes and building the box. We'll throw some pictures up here during the entire video in the build. Right now I'm just stripping off a little bit of wire here. What I'm doing is wiring these speakers. Basically, you have 4 coils. You have 4 positives and 4 negatives, and what I'm going to do is basically just link up all the positives and then link up all the negatives, and that's, if I remember correctly, that's putting them in parallel, I believe. Don't quote me on that if I said that incorrectly. I always get series and parallel confused, but basically you're just linking up all the voice coils, and basically you're taking the number of drivers, which in this case, or number of coils, in this case we have 4, and you're dividing the number by the impedance, which will give you a 1 ohm mono load at the amp. Again, remember your amp has to be stable enough to run a 1 ohm load. Most of the amps out there are nowadays, but just double check that you want to make sure you wire them correctly. And also when you're building something like this, you want to make sure that you're ordering the correct voice coils. And in my case, I did the 4 ohms because I want to get a 1 ohm load on the amp. If it was a different amp or multiple amps, I might have gone with 2 ohm voice coils. So right now, just lining everything up here, I basically got all the wires linked up. I got one of the subs already in, and we're just getting this lined up. The whole holes are pre-drilled, and I did that when the box was outside of the truck laying flat on a nice workbench, so they're all, you know, they're straight, nothing's crooked, of course. Don't over drill the holes. And I'm just using some standard just sheetrock screws. I'll tell you though, at the time of this video, that's what I use just to kind of get the initial setup. What I've done later on down the road is I used a much larger screw to take more. It would take a little bit more of a bite on the MDF. Remember, don't over tighten. You know, I always put the drill on the lowest setting, and then I basically go around and hand tighten everything after the fact. In this case here, I'm using a right hand adapter. Some of the areas, some of the screws I'm trying to screw in there are a little bit difficult to reach with the center console. So, and I know it looks like I'm being careless here, but those shoes are pretty soft, and I'm just kind of gently holding it at the edge of the speaker just to get a couple screws in. We'll get the other one in here in just a second, just to hold everything tight, and then I'll go around and put in the rest of the screws. What else? That's about it. It is something to be noted, though. I want to let you guys know, if you are doing a custom-made box, I actually did an earlier video where I changed my tune. Over the years, I've built, let's see, how many boxes now? About, and a lot of them, you know, as I've gotten older, I've gotten better at being able to do more. My dad did a lot of the work in the original boxes back in '99. As I've become more of a man, I've learned how to do more. But this box, I did a lot of the work myself. My dad does the AutoCAD work and just kind of makes sure that I'm cutting things properly. You know, two heads are better than none. He's much smarter than I am. But in this case, you know, basically did a lot of the work myself, of course. And one thing I'll state, we're getting to the point here, one thing I'll state is that over the years, I've never cross-braced. I've said, nah, you don't need to do that. You know, that's something that guys who are competing in DB drag races do, where you're trying to maximize every decibel. I'll tell you, I've always been able to build boxes without cross-bracing. Lesson learned. With this box, because it's so long and there's such a span and such a height, you know, we have 24 inches in height by 56 inches in length. When these suckers got pumping the first time I powered it up, it was actually flexing the MDF. So if you are going to do any kind of custom box, do make sure that you cross brace. It's better to do it than not. I went back in after the fact and cut a wedge. I did a three contact point brace glued, and it wasn't the prettiest looking thing, but it's in there. I put it right in the middle. Hindsight, I would have done it a lot cleaner, and I would have put in more braces, but I'm telling you, having that extra brace in the middle prevented the flex, and I'm sure there's, you know, a teeny bit of flex, but it's almost eliminated, and I'll tell you, the output just really increased when I did that. To give you guys an idea what it looks like during this video, I'll pop some pictures up, and stay tuned for video number 3. When all these videos are done, I'll put links in the description for each video and everything I do related to the NVX brand. So again, I want to thank NVX Audio for their generosity in sending me these subwoofers, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do let me know if you have any questions. I am always here to help you guys out, especially with car audio. It's one of my passions. I love it. So have a good day, folks. Take care.